Welcome to everyone to our podcast, Chiara Bazzani and Thane Hines. From today, we will speak about the incredible story of Thane Hines that create some invention that will, we can say, change in a better way our future. But Thane, we will explain us about all these things. Hi, Thane.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Can you speak about you? Maybe say something about you, please.
Okay, I'm Thane Hines. I'm the chairman of and co-founder of Thane Hines Energy Inc. We're an Ottawa-based clean tech R&D company, and we are introducing clean technology to the world and new energy technologies and new energy paradigm in 2026, which includes the law of creation of energy, which explains how electromagnetic field energy is created inside current bearing wire, and how this created electromagnetic field energy around the wire is now able to perform unlimited amounts of work and generate electricity at infinite efficiency, which means zero pollution, zero CO2, and also providing electric vehicles with the ability to recharge themselves as they drive, and basically providing electric vehicles with unlimited driving range. So that's what we're bringing to the world in 2026. We started our research officially in the day after 9/11, essentially, and we have been working ever since. We have 3 U.S. patents granted so far, and we're filing between 6 and 9 new patents this year, which will be filed internationally. And we are licensing our technology to the world for free. That means everybody can have the technology, nobody gets left out, and that's basically it.
Yes, it's a great invention because will change our future in different level. So you want to speak about a little bit more about this invention and how can change our future, in particular to different level, please?
Okay, well, I mean, first of all, if we look at there's two things that we can look at right now, two important things that need to be addressed right now. Number one is climate change, and number two is energy. And President Trump is making it pretty clear right now how he feels about energy, at least Venezuela's energy. If most people aren't aware, Venezuela basically has the largest oil reserves in the world. And so the issue is that right now, most, if not all, the wars that are going on in the world, all the geopolitical tensions revolve around energy. And the idea that energy is a limited quantity and that we must be willing to kill and or die for the limited energy that we have. And so what we're introducing to the world is that energy is not a limited quantity. It's an unlimited quantity. It can be created at the point of use by anybody and by everybody. So oil is essentially obsolete as an energy source. It's no longer required, and uh, our technology, when merged with the existing oil infrastructure, it allows oil to be used without creating uh, the greenhouse gas emissions that we currently see. That everybody, or I should say, the 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 financial and geopolitical controllers of the world want to use the climate change issue in order to reduce uh, humanity's ability to thrive. So what our generator technology does is it allows electricity to be generated at infinite efficiency. So what that means is um, fossil fuels are used to uh, bring the system up to idle speed, and then when the generators are generating electricity, uh, they do not require any additional input energy or any additional mechanical input power above what is required to establish the idle state. So, for example, if you wanted to, for example, uh, the United States currently generates 4,000 trillion watts of electricity every year. And in order to generate those 4,000 trillion watts of electricity every year, uh, from the Faraday generators, which were invented in 1834, which are actually now obsolete, you need a minimum of 4,000 mechanical input watts in the generator's drive shaft. And you need 4,000 watts worth of input energy going into the prime mover that's turning the generator. So, with our technology, in order to generate 4,000 trillion watts of electric output energy, you need zero mechanical input watts in order to generate that 4,000 trillion watts of electricity. And you need, on the input energy side, you need 0 joules of energy when you are generating that 4,000 trillion watts of electricity. So what we've done is we have reversed a law of physics called Lenz's law of induction. And Lenz's law of induction says that when you're turning a generator in the clockwise direction and you generate electricity, the generator produces a counter torque that turns in the opposite direction. So what we've done with our US patented Regenex generator is when our generator is generating electricity, or when our generator is being turned in the clockwise direction, when our generator is generating electricity, our generator produces a complementary electromagnetic torque, which turns in the same direction as the prime mover that's turning the generator in the first place. So we've reversed Lenz's law of induction, and are introducing Heinz's law of induction, which is the complementary electromagnetic torque. Again, Lenz's law is the counter electromagnetic torque. So our generator basically turns in the same direction as the prime mover. And because of that, we, we need 0 watts of mechanical input energy when generating electricity. And when we apply that to electric vehicles, it's called EV regenerative acceleration. EV regenerative braking is essentially Lenz's law as it applies to an electric vehicle. And regenerative braking in an EV is a counter electromagnetic torque again. The engineering term is generator armature reaction. And so in electric vehicles, when the generator is being turned by the wheels and the wheels are turning the generator in the clockwise direction, the generator is producing a counter electromagnetic torque, which decelerates the EV when it's recharging the battery. And the more power you send to the EV's batteries in regenerative braking mode, the faster the EV is decelerated. So our generator technology, our EV regenerative acceleration, EV propulsion technology produces a complementary electromagnetic torque. So when our technology is recharging the EV's batteries, it's not decelerating the EV, it's actually accelerating the EV. And the more power we send to the EV's battery in regenerative acceleration mode, the more acceleration we produce in the EV. And essentially, what that means is electric vehicles no longer require plug in recharging, and all EVs starting in 2026 will be provided with unlimited driving range, the elimination of 80% of the EV battery requirements, and the elimination of plug-in recharging. And the plug-in recharging infrastructure cost is, the global cost is between 2.5 and 5.6 trillion dollars for the recharging infrastructure. And so that is basically taken off the table. So what we're doing is we are taking the cost of energy out of the world's economic model. We're taking the cost of energy out of electricity generation. We're taking the cost of energy out of electric mobility or all mobility, including ICE vehicles as well. And we're taking the environmental cost of energy out of the equation. So now fossil fuels are not the fossil fuels have never been the cause of climate change or pollution or nuclear waste. Uh, the cause for all of these issues has been Faraday generators, which were invented in 1834, and they're obsolete. And so, what we're doing, what our company is doing, is we're licensing our US patents to every OEM for free in order to accelerate the adoption of clean energy technologies and to reduce climate change and the issues regarding energy as a an excuse to go to war and steal other countries' energy resources, which we've been doing, you know, we have been doing it for quite a while. So currently the technology is being replicated, or I should say the technology has been replicated more than 22 times independently, internationally, in Italy, France, Holland, Canada, and now it's currently being replicated at Beijing University by Chinese physicists. And the Chinese government has requested that we provide the technology to all Chinese OEMs for free, which is what we're doing. And we're extending that to all OEMs globally. So a big change is coming in 2026, and our company is here to deliver it.
Yes, and can you say to us how is start everything? So from where? So
Oh,
from the
yeah.
school, I know.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, you want to hear that story? Okay, that's fine. So I studied physics, and when I was in college, when I was 18 years old, and I wanted to be a physicist. And the college that I was at opened an electronics program, and all my friends in my class went to the electronics program, and I was afraid of being lonely, so I went to the electronics program as well. And one day we were sitting in our motors and generators class, and the teacher came in and introduced the class to uh, a term called generator armature reaction, which is the uh, counter electromagnetic torque that generators produce when they're generating electricity. So, being a physics student, when I heard the word torque, I realized that torque is work and work requires energy. So I put up my hand and I asked the professor, where does the energy come from in order to perform the counter electromagnetic torque that reduces the kinetic energy of the generator and reduces the kinetic energy of the prime mover that's turning the generator? So um, there must be a source of energy in order to perform what's called negative work, which is the deceleration of the speed of the system. And the professor couldn't answer the question, so he just ignored it. And essentially, the scientific community has been ignoring the question since 1820, and we're introducing the answer that the scientific community can no longer ignore. So the professor went on and he explained that uh, during electricity generation, the generator coil, the electromagnetic field energy that's produced around the generator coil, enters the air gap between the generator coil and the generator's rotating magnetic field, and it produces the counter electromagnetic torque, which then reduces the rotor and reduces the speed of the prime mover, requiring additional input energy to be supplied to the prime mover to keep the generator generating electricity. So I put up my hand again and I said, sir, if we could divert that magnetic field out of the air gap, then we could generate electricity with less electromagnetic resistance, and we could generate electricity more efficiently. And the professor was getting irritated by my observations and my questions, and he said, "Thane, um, yes, you could do that, but first you would have to violate uh, Faraday's law, Lenz's law, Newton's third law, the law of conservation of energy, and the first law of thermodynamics. And we all know that you're not going to be able to do that. So please shut up and stop asking me stupid questions." So I dropped the subject for about 25 years. I worked for a while in the industry and then went back to school and became a chef, and worked as a chef for 25 years, owned a restaurant for the last 7 of those years, and then sold my restaurant to start the clean tech company that I have today. And the initial desire was to create generators that reduced generator armature reaction by the counter electromagnetic torque by 5 to 10%. So electricity generation would be, on average, about 5 to 10% more efficient globally. So in 2007, uh, while developing the technology, the prototypes, and so on, I built a generator that, instead of slowing down just a little bit less, it actually started to accelerate. And so I had a generator that was accelerating itself when generating electricity. And there was no explanation as to why it was doing so. And so we took our generator prototype to MIT, to Dr. Marcus Zahn at MIT in 2008, and we demonstrated our generator, which accelerated itself under load. And we asked him to please explain why our generator was doing what the physics books say it's not supposed to do. And he couldn't answer the question. So we formed a joint venture, or a joint research collaboration between MIT and Ottawa U. And we moved our research into the Power Lab at Ottawa U. And we isolated the acceleration phenomenon down to the generator coil and the electromagnetic field energy that was being created around our generator coil, which was different from a normal Faraday generator coil in that the timing of the creation of our electromagnetic field energy was delayed in the time domain. And Siemens helped us discover the load current time delay, which is the essential patentable uh, property that allows our generator to perform positive work, system kinetic energy increase, acceleration. So performs positive work at infinite efficiency with created electromagnetic field energy that is created according to Hans Christian Oersted's law of creation of energy, which was originally discovered in 1820 at the University of Copenhagen, when Oersted caused a compass needle to move. And so today, what we're introducing from a scientific perspective is a rewrite of almost all the laws of physics going all the way back to 300 BC, starting with Aristotle's theory of conservation of momentum. So we're introducing the law of creation of momentum, and we're introducing, Heinz's law of induction, Oersted's law of creation of energy, Oersted's first law of thermodynamics, Faraday's second law of thermodynamics, Heinz's third law of thermodynamics, all built on the foundation of Oersted's law of creation of energy, which was discovered in 1820, which is the explanation, which is the answer to the question that I asked my professor in our motors and generators class. Where does the energy come from in order to produce the deceleration of the generator during generator armature reaction? And the answer is the energy is created according to Oersted's law of creation of energy, where energy is created at the subatomic quantum level inside the current bearing wire when electrons flow in the wire, and the energy is created according to created via electron fission and read it. So, so Oersted's law of creation of energy is the antidote, the world's antidote to perpetual oil wars and the idea of oil energy scarcity, which has never been true, and the issue regarding climate change, and you know the UN and the WEF's idea that human beings need to eat bugs in order to save the planet. So
Yeah.
energy can be created. Um, oil wells are unnecessary, and eating bugs is not a good idea. So that's it. That's what's coming in 2026. And China already has the technology, and you know, chances are they'll be leading with it because China's renewable, or I should say, sustainable energy is like at about 35%, but the majority of their energy still comes from coal. And basically, what our technology will allow China to do is to continue to burn coal, but to not produce any additional pollution or CO2 above what's required to establish the no load idle stage. So the Chinese people that basically have their lifespan reduced by about 10 years due to the pollution in China, they will get new hope as well. So
Yeah.
so
But
that's it.
yes, but the pollution is a problem not only of China, but for everyone in this
Yeah.
planet. So, why you think that
Mm-hmm.
only China for now listen your voice and try to use your invention, but we change all this problem, the pollution, and many other problems that exist in our planet.
Yeah. Well, what's happening? Yeah. Well, again, what's happening uh, with regards to energy now that the United States has seized Venezuela's oil? The Middle East is now being threatened because if the U.S. floods the world with Venezuela oil, which is supposedly more than what Saudi Arabia has, then the value of Saudi Arabia's oil goes down. And China is angry with the U.S. Um, because possibly because China was getting a lot of its oil from Venezuela, as was Cuba. So now there is going to be a lot of geopolitical tension between China, the Middle East. Um, I'm sure the United States doesn't care about the people of Cuba, but our technology uh, will allow Cubans and China to generate their electricity needs with 80% less input energy than is currently required and producing 80% less CO2 and air pollution than they're currently doing. So 2026 is the year, and it's all basically coming out.
Yes, and we can say also that your invention will help the problem with the work of a child, or you can explain also about this
Oh,
topic, how.
yeah, the blood batteries that are currently in EVs that nobody wants to acknowledge. So, in order to supply the batteries for EVs, cobalt mining is required in Africa. And in order to produce the cobalt at reasonable prices, child slave labor is required. And children in Africa are being buried alive in cobalt mines, and they're being required to produce the cobalt so that EVs can have suitable driving range. The EV regenerative acceleration technology, because it recharges and accelerates the EV while it's driving, eliminates the need for lithium batteries. It eliminates the need for cobalt. Um, and our technology in an electric generator also eliminates the need for rare earth metals, which are required to make the magnets. So, EV OEMs in the West, which is basically everybody except China, they are not dependent on China or South Africa for cobalt, lithium, blood batteries, rare earth metals, and so on. So not only are we introducing uh, unlimited range EV driving range technology, but we're also introducing um, freedom from uh, the necessity for child slave labor and blood batteries and rare earth materials, which is just, and lithium, which is another, another source of geopolitical tension. And so lithium is essentially the new oil, and lithium wars are currently being fought as well. We don't hear about them, but they are also happening. So anything anything that is energy related, and in the United States, energy is a national security issue. Most countries, energy is a national security issue. And if you don't have energy, then you don't have a viable country. So, what our technology does is it provides all countries with the same ability to generate uh, essentially unlimited amounts of electricity, and it removes in 2026 the energy related issues. It removes the uh, energy related issues as they apply to the world economy. So you can imagine as a result of this podcast, when the news gets out, energy is no longer a part of the economic model. So you can take the world's global economic model and remove the cost of energy from that model, and it's going to be very different. And countries that are in debt to private banks, uh, they will be able to pay off their debt just by the savings, the energy cost reduction uh, in energy. I think in our proposal to Turkey, I think we showed them that they could eliminate their national debt in 5 years or 10 years. I can't remember. Just by changing their existing electric generators to the US patented Regenex generators that we've invented. And so elimination of national debt is going to become a global reality, along with um, CO2, air pollution, and energy wars.
And one question: you created this fabulous invention because really can will change our future and our planet. Why, if you want to say you want to give free to everyone and not like maybe someone can think, okay, invented this, so now I took some money because it's
Give
right
it to
also
the
this.
give it to the highest bidder. You mean give it to the give it to the company or the country or whatever that pays the most money. So what we're doing with our technology, because we are giving it away for free, we are also introducing a new business paradigm. Okay, the current business paradigm that the world has been functioning since Cain and Abel uh, is the competition model, where, and you see it everywhere. If you have something that I want and I'm bigger than you, then I'm just going to kill you and take what you have. I mean, that's the excuse. Okay. So, what
Mhm.
we're introducing is the collaboration model, where if you want the technology, you say you want it, we give it to you for free, and we share in the revenue that is generated from uh, in a joint venture partnership agreement. We share in the revenue that's going to come from the sale of our technologies. That means basically what our technology means is that every existing generator, every existing motor, every existing transformer, every existing EV propulsion system, and every existing alternator in every current ICE vehicle on the road today, they're all obsolete. They're all going to go in the garbage starting in 2026. So that market, that great energy reset market, that is a that's a $15 trillion market. Okay. So what we're doing is we're allowing everybody to use the technology for free. We're taking a small share of that $15 trillion market, and we're letting everybody else have, the majority of that market. And so, with regards to, let's say, Saudi Arabia or any other oil producing country, our technology allows oil producing countries to continue to produce oil, but we're removing the negative climate, um, the negative climate attributes of oil from the environment. So oil, which you know some young people are losing their minds over about dirty oil and so on, stop oil and this sort of thing. Uh, our technology makes oil green, and our technology makes oil non-polluting. Again, the issue that faces humanity with regards to climate change and energy generation costs and air pollution, it's not the energy source, it's the generators that we're using, the Faraday generators that were invented in 1834, which are the root of the problem. It's not the oil, it's not the coal, it's not even the nuclear power, it's the generators. So, um, if there's such a thing as reincarnation, chances are I'm Michael Faraday and I've been reincarnated to fix a problem that I couldn't fix in 1834 when I was still around. So once we get rid of Faraday generators and replace Faraday generators, which perform negative work at infinite efficiency, and replace those with Regenex generators, which perform positive work at infinite efficiency and allow electricity to be generated, without pollution and all that, then we change our world for the better. And everybody can take a deep breath and relax and say, we're not all going to die because of climate change. We're not all going to die, or we don't have to pay more taxes, to save the weather. Uh, we don't have to eat bugs to save the planet. We don't have to destroy all the farms in Europe and all over the world to save us from cow farts. Like the UN is saying that 20% of the CO2 that's produced is can be blamed on farmers, which is, again, that those all the kind of the madness, the insanity, the crazy things that we're doing, all of those things now are off the table in 2026. And maybe humanity is going to, come back to its senses, hopefully in 2026. I think that it will, it has to, and we are introducing the technology for free. to make sure that everybody has equal access. Because again, we could go down the current oil route and sell the technology to Saudi Arabia. They could afford to buy the technology and then bury it for the next 20 years, um, and then use it to use it to control and restrict other countries, like they're doing with oil anyways. So uh, there's going to be a lot of changes coming in 2026, and it all starts, with energy, uh, the law of creation of energy, and the ability to generate electricity, at infinite efficiency with no pollution and virtually no cost. Uh, so,
And do you think that the world is ready for this change? That is for sure a wonderful change.
uh, the the world is not educated about what is coming. The humans generally fear what they don't understand. So there's not a huge understanding with regards to our technology, and that's where you come in. And so it's your job to provide the information, that the new information that tells people that, uh, you know, this technology is here, this technology is ready, it's been under development for 25 years, and it's not a threat to the existing paradigm. It's it's an enhancement. It's a benefit to the existing paradigm. So the only people that are going to be threatened by this are the people that create weapons, the people that want war, the people that profit from war, and those people can, I mean, the people that create weapons, the people that profit from war, the people that make the machines for war, they can also get a license and create technologies that um, that you don't that that don't require war. And so, yes, to answer your question, the world is absolutely ready uh, as a whole, and our job over the next months and whatever, the 2026, is to provide the message that lets people know that this technology is here and it's available and it's free and there's no threat. Actually, the only threat is, if you're stupid enough not to take a license, then you're going to lose out because you won't be able to survive. An EV company in 2026 that's not using the EV regenerative acceleration propulsion system will not be able to compete with, a company that is using it and is providing their EV owners with unlimited driving range. I mean, plug-in recharging is obsolete and it's not going to last. It's not going to make it through 2026. So there are companies out there, and you've seen them, you know, um, Stellantis, Alfa Romeo, Bombardier, Renault Nissan, GM, Magna International, Ford. They all know about the technology. I mean, we've all had conversations with them, but they're not ready. They're not ready because they're not educated. once they become educated and once everybody becomes educated, then everybody's going to adopt the technology because it's the only viable option. Everything else is, you know, I mean, Ferrari lost, what was it, 25% of their market value just by announcing they were going to create electric cars. So our technology now allows Ferrari and Stellantis and all companies to compete on a level playing field. So um, there's no more advantage for China, which is being massively subsidized by its government. Now everybody's going to be, again, if you want to talk about the Great Reset, this is the Great Reset. The Great Reset in 2026 is the Great Energy Reset, the Great Mobility Reset, and the Great Peace Reset, and the Great Economic Reset. So the world economic fascists at the WEF who have been controlling the economy and who are trying to control the economy, uh, that is going to be taken away from them. That power is going to be taken away from them because energy is going to be taken out of the economic model. And energy within the economic model is the basis for everything. It's the basis for, you know, uh, interest rates and so on and so on. So you're going to see in 2026, as the information gets out there, the price of energy is going to come down. Um, Climate change issues are going to be gone, and military budgets are going to be uh, reduced significantly as well. And national debts eliminated, and and eventually, if you do your job, I mean, really, the the younger generation, my children and their generation, are going to have a future that doesn't include climate change terrorism. That is the big one for them. And
Yes.
so they're currently living under a cloud of fear and doubt and uncertainty. And this removes that cloud like instantly. And so here we go.
Yes, with our podcast, we try to educate many person that we can. So
Yeah.
every week we will speak and focus more on technical things or other things. So everyone or that come from different level can understand everything and be educated because if they will be educated, they will be also ready for the change and they will ask also this change.
Hmm. Yeah, and what I'm hoping that we will do in this podcast is we will communicate, invite all of the people that participated in the development of these technologies starting in 2001 till today. So all the, let's say, villains and all the heroes and all the, you know, people that made contributions, um, and there are lots of them. So if we
Ye-
can, uh, if we can invite them uh, on the show to give their side of the story. Uh, Unfortunately, Dr. Zan at MIT passed away, but Dr. Kirtley at MIT is still there. Dr. Habash, we can talk to him. Dr. Scribner, Dr. Pile, dozens and dozens of PhDs. hundreds of, or at least 100 investors, um, companies like Siemens, Mike Jenkinson at Siemens, um, Schneider Electric, Magna International, like, uh, you know, we will have an opportunity in this podcast to talk a lot to a lot of people uh, from the past, a lot of people in the present, like our friends at Stellantis, uh, you know, our friends at Renault Nissan, Bombardier, and so on, who have decided that they don't want the technology at this point in time, even though it's free, uh, but who will come to the table eventually uh, because apparently, from what I understand, uh, Alfa Romeo's EV division is being shut down, which means the people that told us to take a hike from Alfa Romeo are going to lose their jobs. Uh, at least some of them will. Now, what our technology allows is for them to keep their jobs and for the company to make lots of profit and to not allow their company to be taken over by Chinese OEMs, which is already happening in Germany. So
Yes.
we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But currently, China has the technology. They have the know-how, and the Chinese government knows about the technology, and they want it for their OEMs. So, you know, it's evolve, it's evolve or die in the automotive industry in 2026. That's for sure.
Yes, and absolutely, we want that everyone that was involved or is involved come to our podcast to speak and say their point of view because it will be interesting. Also to educate the person because they can
Yeah,
understand a different point of view. So yes, absolutely, we will
yeah,
do
and in
in the
fact,
next.
it and in fact, this is an invitation to OEMs that are going to hear this in the next weeks or months or whatever to get in touch with you and say, I want to be on that podcast and I want to learn how our company can acquire this transformative technology to save us from you know going bankrupt, which is occurring in Europe at a extremely fast rate, um, and it's doable. It's completely doable.
Yes. So for today, we finish here, but next week we will go ahead and we focus on different points. So our mission will go ahead. Thank you so much, Thane, and
Yep. Thank you,
see you
Chiara.
next week.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be fun. Bye for now.